Hey guys, how you doing today? Oh, it's a gorgeous day. Spring is upon us. It's gonna happen, you guys. It's gonna happen. The winter is gonna break. The sun is gonna shine. We're gonna be able to go swimming again. We're gonna be able to go do stuff again. It's gonna be super, 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 super nice just to live in the world without the snow and the piercing cold. I'm so looking forward to it. Okay, but what we're talking about today is Doug Ford, and documents have leaked from Doug Ford's office. He and his conservative lackeys have the plan to cut $1.6 billion from the education policies here in Ontario in the upcoming year. This is an assault. This is an assault on teachers. This is an assault on our education system. But it should be nothing new. It's nothing surprising coming out of this administration. This administration, on day one, when it came into power, launched an assault against the working class and against working people. If you worked in any sector except police, you experienced cuts. The Doug Ford administration lied its way into office, said it wasn't going to do any of these cuts. The biggest lie that it said outright was that it said it was going to leave the basic income pilot project in place. First thing it cut was the basic income pilot project. So the Doug Ford administration, well known for being aggressive, extreme liars. Everything that comes out of their mouth is a lie. And so what's shocking is that 40% of the Ontario populace seems to think that he's doing a good job, because all he's done this entire time during a pandemic is pulled up a cue card and read it, called people like yahoos. My absolute favorite thing about Doug Ford is that he'll say, oh, people can't go and gather and they can't go do this, that, the other thing. And then he'll just go off and do it, right? Like, he has no moral compass. He doesn't care about anyone. The only thing that Doug Ford cares about is money for himself. And so assaulting the teachers makes complete and total sense, because that $1.6 billion he can use to give to his billionaire buddies, right? That's $1.6 billion that they don't need, right? That teachers don't need, certainly. You can just lay off a bunch of teachers, right? And call them redundant, because the plan for the Doug Ford administration is to just jam kids in front of TV screens, right? Why have 20, 30 kids being taught by an individual teacher when you can have 1,000 kids in front of a TV screen, right? This is what happens when you elect a drug dealer college dropout, right? When you elect someone who comes from a loser family, who's always been losers, who attain their power because they go out and smoke crack with their constituents, right? Like, this is what happens when you elect this type of person to office. They come up with idiotic policies based on stupid reasons, right? And if you want to get really kind of conspiratorial about it, Doug Ford, as a conservative, understands that people who are literate and read and who are educated don't vote conservative, because you have to be an illiterate boob to vote conservative. So what do? You cut education funding, right? You just jam kids in front of a TV screen and you say that's education, right? You pretend like the hands-on teaching that's being done by teachers for real is the same as just putting kids in front of a TV screen, right? Oh, they learned from Sesame Street, didn't they? This is the Doug Ford method of educating our children. Hey, if you're one of these people that pop out of the video at about this time, be sure to leave a like, be sure to subscribe. You're gonna get more of this content. I do daily videos. Please support leftists on YouTube. We need all the support we can get. We have an entire power structure allied against us, right? People like Doug Ford, they don't want people like me talking. They don't want people like me telling the truth about what's going on in the province. And the 40% support is what really, really gets me. Like, in the end, is what people actually genuinely care about. Is what they genuinely actually care about just that buck of beer? Is that really what it is? Are we really in a position as a people where, like, we want the most illiterate, stupidest, repugnant person running the place? Is this genuinely what we're interested in? We're not actually interested in having somebody who is even attempting or even trying to improve the way this society works or society functions. We're not even interested in having somebody stand up and say, hey, maybe we should not privatize long-term care homes, right? This grift is Doug Ford's greatest sin, if you ask me, because, and it reveals the complete and total illiteracy and just the complete short-sightedness of his own constituents, right? If you're a conservative and you're watching this, you're going to get abandoned in one of these long-term care homes, right? You're going to get abandoned in one of these long-term care homes. And it's not going to be until you get abandoned in one of these long-term care homes and Doug Ford starts making money off of your misery that you go, maybe Doug Ford was the bad man, right? We are living in a time of extreme delusion and extreme intellectual poverty, right? Because the people who are willing to stand up and actually willing to point out that we are being harvested and thrown into indentured servitude, right, are the people who are being harvested and who are being thrown into indentured servitude. And we'd rather listen to morally empty voices, people who are telling us convenient lies about ourselves, people who are telling us lovely lies like, oh, you're such a wonderful person, you just need to pull yourself up and do it yourself, and yeah, it'll be hard, but everything will be okay. And then the people who actually do manage to succeed because they get a loan from their dad or something like this get to stand up and lie to themselves and say, oh yeah, I did it all myself, right? This is a society of absolute dunders that we're creating. And we're gonna get completely rolled over, right? Like this is the most hilarious part about all of this. We're gonna get completely rolled over. We're gonna get rolled over by the Chinese, and we're gonna get rolled over by the Europeans, because the Chinese and the Europeans are actually building a society. They're not building this like ridiculous crabs in a bucket thing that we've got going on, where we're constantly at war with each other and we're constantly fighting one another for base meager scraps, right? They're not plunging their education. They're not plunging their education budgets down the toilet. They're not trying to make sure that the next generation of kids are completely illiterate. They're not trying to make sure that there's a police state that's been erected in their provinces and in their countries, right? They're trying to build a society that their own citizens can be happy in and can thrive in and can actually get something done and actually do something, right? While we are going to be playing catch up for 100 years. We're going to be playing catch up for 100 years because we're so stupid and we're so dumb, and we love the fact that we're electing illiterate drug dealers who beat their wives, right? This is our leadership. Our leadership are people like Doug Ford, who literally cannot even comprehend a single reason why we should make sure that people are educated or people are not homeless, right? As far as Doug Ford's concerned, those are just losers. We can just abandon them in the street, right? And guess what? 40% of the populace completely agrees with him. That's a terrifying figure to come to terms with. It's a terrifying figure to come to terms with. The idea that almost 1 in 2, every second person you meet, thinks that we should be illiterate, we should be stupid, we should be poorer, we should abandon the homeless, we should abandon the poor, we should sacrifice all of our money to a billionaire class who's just going to offshore that wealth. That this is the way that we should structure our society. Oh, and let's not forget, do all that while absolutely destroying the green belt, absolutely destroying any environmental programs we actually have in this province, doing absolutely nothing to confront climate change, all because we worship money. I've said it over and over and over again on this channel, guys. We worship money. The worship of money is our greatest fault. That we have taken something that does not exist, that we created as an organizational tool in order to facilitate trade amongst one another, and we've elevated it. Money is more important than water. Money is more important than food. Money is the most important thing that we distribute in our society, and it's a sickness. It's a mental illness that we have. Like, nothing indicates to you how delusional someone is more than when they start talking about, oh, but the deficit, we've got to pay off that deficit. It says, oh, it's a burden, that deficit. The deficit is literally just a measurement of how many numbers we've used in the society. How much of your economy is based on government spending? That's all the deficit is. It's not a loan that we have to pay back. Unless you're a conservative and you're delusional and you don't know anything about the subject, right? All you think is that, oh yeah, the government spending is exactly like my home finances. Like, oh boy. Nope, not even close. Like this worship of money that we have, where we have to sacrifice everything to it. We have to sacrifice not only clean water, not only clean air, not only having a decent environment and a decent place to live, not only having decent jobs, not only living in a society where everyone is allied with one another. We sacrifice all of that. We also have to sacrifice basic logic, basic reason, just the most basic fundamental things, and become these kind of absurdist fundamentalists, right? That's what we are. Right now, this society is no better. We might as well be a theocracy, right? We have the same kind of delusional belief systems surrounding money and surrounding its elevation that we do as people who think that Jesus Christ is coming back at any moment, right? We have the same kind of delusional belief systems implanted deeply inside of us, because we've been taught that money is God, even though we're not taught anything about it, right? We're not taught a single thing about it. We're not taught about who creates the money. We're not taught about where it comes from. We're not taught about what taxes actually do. We're not taught about any of that. We, as the populace, are completely left out of the loop, and we're all just supposed to bow our heads and go, yes, money, that's the thing. And what does this do? This opens the door to grifters, thugs, drug dealers, people who beat their wives, right? To come to the halls of power and actually begin a full-scale, full-throated assault against our most treasured institutions, right? We need an education system. We need an education system to be strong. We need an education system to be powerful. We need an education system to actually educate our kids and actually fight on our behalf, to inform people about what's going on in the world, to inform people about how to discover what's going on in the world. Conservatives aren't interested in that. Conservatives want you to continue worshiping the financial sector, the parasite sector. These people want you to continue worshiping conservatives as they sell drugs, create mafia connections, and beat their wives, as I've said several times. They're not interested in building a collective state. They're not interested in building a collective community. They'll tell you so, right? They will tell you that the best way to organize things is through competition. So you have to compete for education. You have to compete for meager scraps, while the winners in this arrangement, of course, gaining their wealth off of things like black slavery, off of huge government grants and huge government subsidies, like the Canada Dominion Act, right? That these guys get to then turn around and completely build a new structure where they're the kings, and guess what that makes us? The serfs. That's what we're heading towards, and 40% of the populace seems to think that that's the thing to do. Okay guys, this is the end of this video. If you've made it to this point, you have to subscribe. Those are the rules. If you please like it. It's easy to do. Please share this with your conservative parents, with your conservative uncle. Piss them off, right? They deserve to be pissed off. Nobody should be denigrated more than conservatives right now. We need to ally and create force to show them that we don't like them. Like, we don't like them. We don't like what they're doing to our society. So, and hey, if you've got a buck jangling around in your pocket, I've got a Patreon down below. We need to support leftist voices, guys. And here I am, right? You don't have a communist on your feed? I could be the communist on your feed. Okay, guys. These guys are gaslighting you. They're gaslighting you as hard as they can. Don't let them. Good luck. We're gonna need it.